everybody, Jerlyn Rose here. It's the 25th of the month. That means we need a Shimmer and Shine card for the Christmas hop. One of the Instagram hops I'm in is the Crushing Christmas one, where each month we have a different theme and build up our Christmas cards to have enough to send out at holiday time. This month the theme is Shimmer and Shine. Oh boy, right in my corner, right? Speaking of in my corner, hey, can you take a moment to like and subscribe? I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much. Anyway, we have the Simon Says Stamp Candy Cane Background Cling Stamp. We've used some white pigment ink. We've used some white fine embossing powder. We are using the heat gun to get that all cooked on there. And then we're going to splatter 3 different micas. First one was Wicked Elixir, and we are using the cracked pistachio embossing glaze over top of that. Then we brought in Frosty Mint splatters. And over top of that, we are going to put the broken china glaze. And the last one that we have that we're going to splatter down is the fresh balsam. And that one I'm using a chunky embossing powder over top of it to bring in some different golds, metallics, coppers, some dark tones to bring in the shimmer shine aspect for the theme this month. So we've got those all heated on there. And then we're going to use some of the Nouveau shimmer powders and some of the Lindys Magical powders. First one was Cherry Bomb to do the pink and the red of the candy canes. And if you take a little dab out and put it down on a mat and then just keep dipping your water pen into it, you can paint them on quite nicely. Second one was in green. That was Emerald A, which was one of the Canadian set with Lindys. I had to have it because it was Canadian, right? You can see I'm painting on the green here through all the candy canes, alternating them. And then I brought in the Banff Blue and the Tibetan Poppy Teal. And those ones I mixed a little bit because I wanted the candy canes to be a little bit more turquoisey blue to go in with the turquoise cardstock that we had in the background. So while those are drying, I jumped over to the inside of the card. I've got out the Simon Says Stamp Christmas Blessings, one of my favorite ones to use for Christmas time. And I'm going to do this in tones of turquoise and then greens and red. But I'm going to do something a little funky with the green and the red. I'm blending out the top portion of the Sending Christmas Wishes here. And then I will switch it over to the other stamp from Spellbinders, the Dancing Christmas sentiments. And I've done the Joy in green, and I am going to do the main part of that sentiment in red. But then I'm going to come back in over top of it, and I am going to put green stripes and a slightly blue tone over top of it to mimic the stripes that we have happening through all the candy canes in the front. And this is where my nails actually come in handy. My long thumbnails, I was able to drag the ink off with my nail and get in there without worrying about swiping too much off with like a stamp chamois or whatever. Custom stamp is going on the back. I'm using that, of course, in like a turquoisey green tone. And I got out the Simon Says Stamp Swirling Snowflakes embossing folder. And I'm going to emboss that panel now that it's a little bit more dry because I wanted to bring in a little bit of visual texture with like the snowflakes, and the swirls worked really well with the candy cane swoops that were in there. So now that it's embossed, stupidly, I'm gonna set this down on my card base right away. I'm jumping the gun here. I thought at first that, I could just get away with this panel, but I just didn't like it. So me being me, I brought in Simon Hurley's Solar Sprays, Crocodile Tears, and Beluga. And the first one was probably overheated. It was the pinky red one. I'm splattering those on. I wanted more shine on that thing. And then I thought, I'll just use the background cling stamp to stamp one of the candy canes. And none of them were complete. So I took the one that was the most complete and I embossed it first. So this is where I'm just getting the main body of the candy cane down. And then I brought in my white gel pen and I painted in the part that was missing. And I put more embossing powder over that wet gel ink. and then I embossed it, and it worked. It's like, yay, bonus. Then I got out some glitter cardstock and the Concord and Ninth 'Tis the Season die, and I cut out the glitter for the top, and then I cut out for the shadow layer one in like a holographic silver paper, and then a couple of white ones, and then the shadow was in like a light blue vellum, and got those all stuck together. And then I went back in on the 2 candy canes, fussy cut them out, that we had done after the other ones, and I'm going back in with the blues and the greens and the red, and I used the flat tones this time. So Lindys has some that are shiny and some that are flat tones, and the Caribbean blue, the luscious lime, and the hibiscus rose are the ones that are flat tones. But I knew I was going to fix it. I was going to fix it by putting stickles over top. Diamond, crystal, stardust, and frosted lace. So I wanted to have it like it was lines that you see when the candy canes are twisted as they're being made. So I brought those stickles in turn and did the lines on. So set that aside. Now, more Ultra New Relief Paste in Pearl. I put out a daub of it, I split it into 4, and then got out those same Lindys, and I mixed the colors in, and then I slathered it on my embossing folders, and I wasn't certain which ones I was going to use, so I had Happy Holidays from Ultra New and Spellbinders Holly Flourish. Put them aside to dry overnight. Then the Sizzix Holiday Brush Stroke. So I'm cutting out some branches, some greenery to go behind the candy canes, and I did those in different vellums and in the holographic again, and then I'm coloring them with alcohol markers to bring some green and blue and pink tones in on them, gluing them together here. And I did use stickles to glue them together because if it ended up showing with the vellum, it wasn't going to matter, right? Over top, I'm putting stickles in strategic spots, because what I'm going to do next is on all of those, I am going to dip them into some of the Ranger Distress rock candy. And that's going to mimic like frost on top of the greenery, right? So here you can see that I'm just dipping them in. And the stickles, because they stay wet for long enough, I wasn't worried about them drying in between. This is where I'm trying to peel up the dried relief paste that was stuck to the inside of my embossing folder. And I do have a little bit of cleanup to do, but it was very satisfying. It came off kind of like the glue that we used to have on your hands when you were a kid. And it was fun to glue down too, because it was very pliable, right? And I'm squashing it down there, squashing it down. So then I'm gluing the other side and squashing it down again. For the candy canes, they had curled a little bit. So I got out some ultra sticky tape and I'm swapping that onto the back of them. And of course, having to clean my scissors after because they did gum them up a little bit. I'm starting to arrange the greenery behind the candy canes, and the 'Tis the Season is going to go down. And I realized, I've got a inverted triangle thing happening where I got an inverted triangle at the top and a triangle at the bottom, so they mimic each half. So to tie them together, I'm using the Memory Box Lavender Bouquet. I'm coloring the ends of that with an alcohol marker, dipping it in some Versamark and then into the Ranger Holographic embossing powder. I heat gunned it off camera. So I'm sticking those in our little wreath that we've got going on the front. And then the Pink Fresh Studios Ombre Drops Enchanted Forest. Got out some blues and greens, and I just colored a couple of them with the pinks to go with the pink that we've got happening on the candy canes. I'm sticking them down. And I thought I'd just put one little tag on it. So Pink in Maine, Snow One Like You. There was a cute little sentiment in there that was sweet, like the candy canes. So we did that in black, and then we put again the sparkle embossing powder over top of it. Heat gunned it. Used one of my old close to my heart banner dies to cut that out, and then I just used scissors to snip off the other end. And this is where I'm shooting glue down inside there, and that's the finished card, everybody. So yeah, that's got some shimmer and shine. Oh, and I did throw some sequins just over in the one corner to kind of balance the composition out. But everybody, just reminding you, we've got a hop happening September 30th. Giveaways for subscribers. Please subscribe. We'll see you then. And everybody, be that change you want to see in the world. And thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.